they missed out on a lot of good things with Persona 3 Reload. At least I personally believe so. Like there's like the animations for some characters are they're not there. Like
No.
at least I may only be an hour and a half into the game as of now, and I'm definitely gonna continue playing it after this because I bought the game because I wanted the new animations. I wanted to see what they would have done, and so far, I'm disappointed. If you know what I
Gotcha.
mean. Like for a game that we've been asking for more than a decade to finally get something, this doesn't feel like they wanted to do this.
No.
There are animations here that just don't fit. Voice acting is just it's good and it's not at the same time. Some characters it really just seems right. Like Mitsuru, Junpei, I enjoy them. Yukari,
Yeah.
her voice is everywhere.
It's like the what I want to say about Yukari's new voice actor. You could feel the emotion in the old one, but besides the lack of that urgency and the attitude and the emotion that was in the original VA, the voice is a lot lighter, I want to say, compared to the original. I think that's
Like,
another part that throws it off, if that
yeah.
makes sense.
Like I understand they wanted to get people who would do the characters right and give people similar voices, but I would have preferred them go in a completely different I don't even care if they go in a completely different direction. That's not even say I would have preferred. I don't even care what direction we go in, right? What I care about is that
Yeah.
you get these scenes and the feelings down when you're doing them. And so far, every
Exactly.
line I've heard from Yukari as a character has been garbage.
And I think it's mainly the execution and the fact that the voice actor, I think she was new also.
Yeah. The
So
other thing is,
that,
right, let's just talk about Pharaohs real quick.
yeah.
Like, the recording wasn't here for me when I said this, but I'm gonna repeat it again, right? My problem with Pharaohs' current direction, he's too emotionless compared to the
Yeah.
playfulness you could hear in his voice in the previous games.
Like, he's too monotone. I mean, yeah, there were like when he'd be talking, there was that undertone of playfulness. And then there was those times where you could clearly hear the playfulness in the voice, you know? Like the scene where he visits you, I think it was after the second or third full moon, and it's when you advance the Death Arcana, I think, the first time, and he says like he feels like thought he'd let you know, and if you thanked him, he would laugh and say no one's ever thanked him, like for whatever before.
Well, I
You
haven't
know?
gotten there, and I can't speak on that just yet because, I just got the game today, you know,
Yeah,
March 26th. But
yeah,
because of that,
but
I'm also sitting here with the current experience I have an hour and a half into the game. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, some of these voices fit. Some of them are almost there. And some of them are just out of place.
yeah, but like I haven't watched any gameplay for Persona 3 Reloaded. I was just going off of what I remember from the portable version, you know?
But I will say, I'm fine with us not getting FEMC. FEMC stands, kill me. Go ahead. I don't care. My thing is, I'm not fine with it at this point, and that's mainly because the animations aren't there. A lot of the characters are not expressive. Like, yes, it's honestly to me, it's visually impressive that they're having the character mouth move and the portrait mouth move at the same time. However, what's not impressive to me is the character standing there and occasionally doing one or two or three same animations.
They could have done something to make the body
Like,
gestures
And I
body
hate to use
language.
Persona 5 as an example, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
because it really just takes
Yeah.
away from what this game is. But I have to in the context of that it came before this, right?
Yeah.
In Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal, even when the characters were standing idle talking to each other, they were doing something while talking
Yeah.
to another person. Even if they
Whether
weren't
it
moving
was
a lot, they were doing something. And at least
whether
for the first hour of gameplay, it felt like a lot of the, it still feels like a lot of the characters are static when they're talking to you.
well, it's like in Persona 5, I will say a lot of the animations there was something in the body language or a gesture that they were making. If that makes any sense. Whereas what I've seen so far just from what you've
Oh,
shown me.
Persona 4, Persona 3, Persona 3 Fest, and Persona 4 Golden have all done the talking to each other right, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the biggest like indicator for me is like indicator, hindering indicator. I guess I'm just gonna call that now a indicator. You know what I mean? The biggest indicator for me in this scene with the game. You walk into the dorm, Mitsuru and Takiba talking to you after you've signed the contract with Pharaohs,
Yeah.
right? My thing is, and during that whole time, Mitsuru does like maybe two idle animations while talking to you.
Yeah.
Takiba just
Yeah.
changes her hands from the side of her to the back of her at the end of the conversation.
Yeah. They could have added more body. That's why I'm like talking about the body language and the emotions and stuff because they could
There's
have done
body
more.
sway, but the body sway is barely noticeable for it to feel like you're talking to an actual human being.
In that sense, I can understand the aesthetic that you're talking about because they could have honestly done more in the scenes to give them more personality in their body language and in their
Yeah.
gestures.
Back to talking about why I'm not fine with FAMC being here now, because if you look at everything they say about why they didn't bring FAMC in, one, it was quote unquote going to be more expensive. Sure, I'll give you that. It was always going to be more expensive to develop another portion of the game to literally be another half of this current game. That is true. That is true. That was always going to be a case. However, if you were gonna stop that, what stops you from actually improving the visual quality of the game, ensuring that your voice actors are not directionless or are just reading the bare minimum cues? You
Yeah,
know?
I get you.
And while even if this is like their definitive version of the game, like this is what the characters were supposed to sound like to them, it just to me at that point it just feels like a worse version when it comes to voice direction.
Yeah. Oh, going back to the opening scene with Yukari, it feels like the voice actress rushed through the lines rather than putting any urgency or in-depth emotions into the lines. That makes
And
sense.
for those who don't exactly understand, opening scene with Yukari, she points a gun to her head, all tries to shoot it, doesn't, says no, I can't. But it's the way she says it. It just it does not give the same sense of urgency or even gravity to it that the previous games did in this series. And they're like the previous Persona 3, Persona 3 Fest, and even Persona 3 Portable, you knew how much it affected her to try to pull that trigger. Here it just feels more like the voice actress just forced it out of her. Like she like you like an obviously fake act, if you know what I mean. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like it's a genuine like thing, if you know what I mean. But that's all I've wanted to say, right? That's all I'm going to say. But since I started the game an hour and a half ago, I just kind of wanted to say my piece. And you kind of understand where I'm coming from. And this is all I'm gonna say. I really hope this game improves in the next 12 or 20 hours that I end up spending, because God, right now the voices make me want to bang my head against the wall. And with that, have a good one.